Sangha and a special crossover episode with Yamsox ASMR. Let this be an offering to Jagadguru Dam Shri Kripaluji Maharaj on this Root Chakra Sunday, recommended by one of our viewers, Sky Guardian. We have dedicated the first day of the week, the first chakra, to relaxation. As such, welcome to the second installation of ASMR Sunday. So, we will be putting particular emphasis on coming to comfort, giving all those tingles, and ensuring that you feel as accepted and welcomed in your own body. Hello, Seb. Happy to have you here. As we await our first viewers to arrive, allow me to set the intention of this being an environment that is inclusive to everyone, regardless of their background, identity, belief system. Hello, Yasmin. Hello, Smiles and Flames. Thank you for your heart, me, Yasmin. Welcome to ASMR Sunday. Hello, Kat. Hello, One Cheeky Chick. And hello, Anyadea. And thank you, Anyadea, for your rose. Radhe, Radhe. Hello, Yo Alba. Hello, Tazi. Welcome. I trust that you are all feeling as well as you can, given the circumstances that may be availing in your life at this time. Even if not, that's quite alright. You are certainly allowed to feel just as you are feeling right now. Hello, Rainbow. Hello, Arthur. Thank you, Dazi. Hello. Welcome. Thank you, One Cheeky Chick, for your team bracelet. Jai Sitaram. And for your heart me. Thank you. And thank you, Smiles and Flames, for your heart me. No, my voice is not gone. This is just ASMR Sunday. Perhaps I can start by doing some tapping sounds to get the vibe in its place. Besides having an environment catered to relaxation, this will be a regular live stream. So I'd like to start with my question of the day, which above my head momentarily says, what do you do to calm down? Do let me know. And thank you, Yo Alva, for your rose and for your finger heart. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dazi, you share deep breaths. As does Sid. Breaths and pray. Cat Ladybird, you bake sourdough bread. How lovely. Goody Woot, you share that you like to be in silence, understimulate. Cody Jane, you like to play with kinetic sand. Oh, I forgot about that. I love that. Rune likes to shower. Christina likes to feed the birds. Leon Rose, self-affirmation, music, breathing, get out in nature. Those are all very good ways. Lior, you like to listen to the world's natural sounds. It is our home, this planet. Indeed. Arthur likes the Wim Hof method. One cheeky chick says, by taking a step back, breathe, and assess the situation. Love, Dorit. You thank the world and deep breathe. Yes, gratitude is so important for us to feel safe in this moment. And namaste, Andre. Thank you, Arthur, for your tiny that you sent a minute ago. Yippee! And thank you, Cat Ladybird, for your dozen roses. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Giuliano, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Zara, thank you for your rose. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you, Lingdina. And thank you, Arthur, for your rose too. Sounds like you all have a lot of different ways to calm yourself down, which is such a great arsenal to have as part of your toolkit. It's a very powerful skill to be able to calm this system down. I'm going to minimize the question of the day for now. Thank you to everyone who responded. You are certainly not expected to respond, so even if you didn't, that's quite alright too. Now what do I do to calm myself down, Lior asks. Breathing is the first thing that comes to my mind. When you imagine someone who's relaxed or maybe asleep, what you probably envision is someone whose muscles are all relaxed and their breathing is nice, deep, and circular. But it works both ways too. We can inwardly relax our body and start breathing naturally with a consistent rhythm and pace. This signals to our body and mind that this is a safe place. So, without further ado, I'd like to open up our book that we have been reading, Swami Mukundananda's The Power of Thoughts. This is an exceptionally practical book that mixes ancient insight on meditation and thinking with modern psychological insight. We finished a few days ago reading his other book, The Art and Science of Happiness. By engaging in the consistent practice of reading a few pages on stream every day. Here we are in the first chapter. Let us think about thoughts. And perhaps before we crack it open, we can pull some nice tingles out of this book. This section is titled as Thoughts Can Heal or Poison the Body. We all take the utmost care not to ingest poison in any form. Yet, at times we do so unknowingly. It may be through the canned food we eat or the bottled water we drink. In 2002, there was an uproar in India over the presence of pesticides in bottled water. The Pollution Monitoring Laboratory of the Center for Science and Environment, CSE, analyzed different brands of plastic bottled waters. This led to a startling revelation. The prestigious Bisleri water contained 7,900% more pesticide content than the stipulated limit. Bisleri did take corrective action subsequently, and since then, the Indian government too has implemented strict laws to protect people from poisonous chemicals. However, we remain oblivious of the large amounts of poison that pour into our blood and organs due to negative thoughts. Fear, hostility, envy, and resentment, all these adversely affect the body. Thought poisons are subtle, but their consequences can be grave. Let me share my own experience with the mind-body connection. As a spiritual counselor and wellness teacher with many decades of experience, I am repeatedly asked for advice on a variety of medical ailments. Wherever my knowledge and experience permit, I do oblige with guidance on yoga, pranayama, nutrition, and mind management. Over the years, as I counseled people, I began to notice that those who complained of acute arthritis were also holding on to undue hostility. They had a resentful nature and were nurturing a grudge in their heart. Could there be a connection? Then, in a chance meeting, I got an opportunity to test my hypothesis. On a morning walk in Delhi, I met a couple who had previously been active devotees of our satsang. "I have not seen you both for a year now," I said. "Why do you no longer participate?" "Swamiji, my wife is very unwell," replied the husband. "She has severe arthritis." I then asked his wife, "Are you nurturing excessive hostility?" "Oh, Swamiji," the husband interjected, "you hit the nail on the head. She is full of bitterness and refuses to let go of her grudges." At that point, the lady spoke up. "Swamiji, you are very right. The day my feelings of animosity increase, the pain in my body aggravates. However, now that you have pointed it out, I will try my best to avoid bitter thoughts." Medical science informs us that arthritis can develop for 100 different reasons. However, studies at Johns Hopkins University have established that the pain experienced by arthritic patients is exacerbated when they harbor hostile feelings towards someone. So, resentful thoughts may not be the cause of arthritis, but they can aggravate the symptoms. Similarly, excessive anxiety impedes aids the proper functioning of our digestive system. It is a major cause for ulcers, acidity, and irritable bowel syndrome. Likewise, grief saps the body of energy. It leads to fatigue and weakness of the muscles. In the same manner, excessive worry depresses our immune system, making us susceptible to colds, flu, diseases, and infections. The Vedic scriptures give the reason for this. They explain that harboring mental poisons disrupts the smooth and regular flow of prana, the vital energy. The disturbance in pranic shakti disorganizes the nadis, the energy channels within the body, as a result of which some receive more than normal energy, while others get less. Such an imbalanced state over time leads to dis-ease. Modern research on the mind-body connection is validating the Vedic perspective. Study after study is revealing that extreme hatred, bitter jealousy, and numbing anxiety are all harmful to our body. They injure the cells in our kidneys, heart, intestines, and liver. In this way, toxic thoughts become the cause of disease. The word disease itself means lack of ease, or dearth of mental harmony. Conversely, our health and well-being are enhanced when we feel joyous. Positive thoughts of love, hope, and courage are the best vitamins we can offer our body. They nourish our organs and rejuvenate our energy levels. Not surprisingly, as per Ayurveda, the most effective way to bring our kapha, pitta, and vata into balance is to cultivate selfless love in our heart. About 2,500 thoughts run through our mind every hour. Imagine their potential healing power if they are all joyous and optimistic. A popular Sanskrit prayer states, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. May all beings be happy. May everyone be healthy and well. May auspiciousness come to us from all sides, and may no one suffer. Om, peace, peace, peace. The beautiful idea behind the prayer is to train our mind to nurture compassionate and noble emotions. That was a longer section, but a very important one. We'll stop our reading for there, but I thank you all for listening. Indeed, one of the most important things we can do to live a happy and healthy life is to make some room for positive thoughts and let go of negative thoughts. It's something so simple but very difficult to do, yet it has far-reaching consequences. So I very much am indebted to Swamiji for writing such an important and practical book. And thank you, my lovely viewers who sent a gift whilst I read. I appreciate your patience in allowing me to read before I extend my appreciation back to you. Thank you, Zeb, for your heart me and disco love. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Marian, for your slice of cake. Radhe Radhe. And thank you, Chantal, for your rose. Hare Om Tat Sat. And Angelique, thank you for your heart me. And Ina Rodriguez, you're wondering why are you whispering? We have dedicated Sundays on this channel to ASMR. Lior, I saw you ask this at the beginning, and I thank you for your patience in waiting for the Q&A portion of this live to ask again. You ask, what is the one thing that is consistent across everything? The simple answer is nothing. But that nothing is not a throwaway answer. Focus your attention on what nothing means. Nothingness is not a just an absence. It has a presence to it. It can be thought of as the Akash, the empty space which pervades everything. All things exist as fluctuations of this vacuum, permeate through it and return to it. It is from the void, this no thing, that all things arise, persist through, and return to. The one thing that is consistent across everything is this background layer of silence, stillness, darkness. It is invisible, unattached, and formless, and yet the very nature of your consciousness. Doom Knight, you ask, will I speak about this symbol? It's very small on my screen. Let me come closer. Oh yes. You share the Omkar. See if I can do it backwards. This ligature comprises three sounds: the akar, the ukar, and the umkar. Of course, these sounds are best said not through a whispered voice, as they each are indeed voiced. The Omkar represents the sound of existence in its aspect of creation, preservation, destruction, and the impersonal Brahman that pervades it all. The very nothingness that we spoke of a few moments ago. And thank you, Ren, for your heart me. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Johrash, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, Luna Moon Child. So Lee, you ask, can you sing a song? Let us go through the Gayatri mantra together. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargav Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Hello, Kills. a safe space, open to everyone, regardless of how you are feeling in this moment. Know that no emotion defines you. All emotions are mere sensations. They exist to you and not of you. Allow your feelings to take place in this moment, and they shall not disturb you. Hello, cornbread. Hello, Gaia. Far from here, you ask, are you a Muslim? I am whatever you wish me to be. I am not here with an agenda to give you a certain belief system. I believe that whatever belief system you already have is worthy of upliftment. All paths lead to the source. Therefore, whatever trail you are already traversing, continue, my friend. I am here to accelerate you. Slowly you ask, what's your favorite day of the week? My favorite day of the week is today. And today goes by many names. Sometimes it goes by Sunday, other times by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The Beatles wrote a song about the 8th day of the week. And as we know, there are presently 7. But there is truly only one day of the week, and that is today. There are 7 different names for today, depending on our observation of what exists today. When the moon exists in a certain phase, when the sun has completed its path along our sky, we count up through the labels which we call today, but never is it not today. And thank you, Hima, for your heart me. Radhe, Radhe. Gaia, you ask, what do you think about casting out demons? Know yourself to be whole at all times. Your soul is divine. If we feel like there's some part of us that we need to remove, then we are not in acceptance of ourself. To rise higher and higher through divine planes, we must attach ourselves to higher and higher things and let go of lower and lower things. One does not require any acknowledgement of one's negativity. Simply increase your positivity and you shall succeed. Dreamcaster, you're wondering, what do I believe in regards to Jacob's ladder? That sounds like a great question. You know, I forget what Jacob's ladder is. If you could teach me if it can fit, or remind me within a TikTok comment. I know it's very difficult to express intricate things within the limited space available, but I would be very grateful if you could. And thank you, Sand Shifter, for your rose and heart me. Jai Sitaram. Thank you, Fabiana, for your rose too. Radhe, Radhe. Lior, you ask, what is the one thing you consistently use to help yourself get through hard times? Hard times are not a punishment. this is something we need to get through our skull sometimes, as thick as it is. When something isn't going our way, that does not mean that it should be some other way. In fact, the more hard times we go through, the greater we grow in our wisdom, in our patience, in our understanding, if we choose to see it as an opportunity. Unfortunately, it's very easy to be offended by our situation, and this does not help. Obstacles are not meant to limit you, but are meant to provide you with growth, transformation, and expansion. Thus, see hard times as a blessing, because it allows you to flourish. Patience is not cultivated through easy times, nor is wisdom gained when you are feeling pleasant. Wisdom and patience are cultivated through attending to difficulties in the present moment. And thank you, Rosalian, for your heartbeat. And thank you, Sand Shifter, for your 6 roses. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Fabiana, for your finger heart. Jai Sitaram. Gaia, you ask, how does one provide a sense of equality? And indeed, baby Daisy, I am on earlier for 2 reasons. 1, so that my earlier time zone viewers can catch me at an earlier time rather than the middle of the night. And secondly, because it's such a beautiful sunny day, so I'd love to do it a little earlier so that I can frolic outside in the sun afterwards. But yes, Gaia, how does one provide a sense of equality? By realizing that on the level of the soul, we are all equal. Yes, we differ in terms of our eye color, our hair color, our skin color, in the way that we grow up, in our family, in our feelings, in our thoughts, in our talents, in our memories, in our beliefs, in our identity. Everything that's on the surface exists in diversity. This is not merely some observation, but a law of physics. This is called the Pauli exclusion principle, which states that all fermions must exist in distinct quantum states. So, there is no repeating structure anywhere across this universe. However, our consciousness is non-different from one another. It has no qualities to differentiate. It is formless, unattached, and ever pure, the same as it is in me, the same as it is in you. Who we are on the level of awareness is non-different. Thus we are truly equal. These body, mind, and worldly forms, they come and go, but this consciousness does not. And thank you, Marvin, for your quartet of roses. Radhe, Radhe. And Kevin, thank you for your heart me. Jai Sita Ram. Fabiana, you ask, yourself maybe have chosen to experience illness in an incarnation. Indeed, illness is never a punishment. It's not a consequence of having done something wrong. Through illness, we receive so many blessings. For example, from my own experience. One time when my mother was taking care of me when I was very sick, I had 2 strains of pneumonia and the flu simultaneously. I had to spend New Year's Eve in the hospital hooked up to an IV. And I said to my mother, "I'm so sorry that you have to take care of me. I felt like I was a burden." And she said, "My dear child, it is the greatest blessing to be able to take care of you. I love being your mother, and as such, you are giving me the opportunity to be my best self." And that completely transformed my understanding of sickness. I now realize that when I am sick, I am providing my loved ones an opportunity to be receptive of their love. And that's all they could ask for. Likewise, whenever we are in need of help, we are providing those around us with an opportunity to help, thus giving them such purpose and fulfillment. So illness is never a negative karma. There is no such thing as negative karma. There is only positive karma, as everything that comes our way is meant to uplift us. We just have to utilize this shift in perspective. Thank you, baby Daisy, for your 20 roses that you sent a moment ago. Hare Om Tat Sat. Bum Chubu, you share from your own experience that my best friend is blind and I love helping him when we walk together. You have seen the truth in it yourself. Thank you, Sand Shifter, for your 15 perfumes. Jai Sitaram. And thank you, Vinny, for your 3 roses too. Hare Om Tat Sat. And Francie loves cats. Thank you for your heart me and a fortnight's worth of team bracelets. Jai Sitaram. Orion, you asked, if the human race is spiritually one, then why do you think we all hate each other? Hatred is a mere surface level emotion. Everything we do has always been out of love. And I'll give you a practical example. In America, sports is a very big part of the culture. Watching the baseball game, the basketball game, the football game. In other places of the world too. Cricket is very popular in India. Football in Europe and South America. Here in Canada, we like lacrosse and hockey. Sometimes, when a child grows up, and let's say their parents love a certain baseball team, that child grows up having a lovely time cheering on their favorite team. And as they grow up, they begin to grow resentment for the other teams. They start booing the other teams because they don't wish to see their favorite team lose. It makes them so happy when their favorite team wins. However, this hatred towards the other teams might erupt in violence. example, several years ago, when the Vancouver Canucks lost the Stanley Cup here in Canada, there were riots in the streets. People had lit cars on fire. All this was just out of a love for their favorite hockey team. So, hatred is really just a comparison between something you love one-pointedly and something less so. If we just strive to make our love more homogeneous, then hatred need not arise. Thank you, Sandshifter, for your finger heart a minute ago. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Vinny, for your 4 gigs. Jai Sita Ram. Gaia, you are wondering, have I watched Dune? Not yet, but would you recommend it? I'll certainly add it to my list. And thank you, Baby Daisy, for your 20 ice cream cones. Radhe, Radhe. Small, you share that you just saw that Sandy is a flowerdarian. Yes. His brother, his brother likes to bulk. He is so muscly. It's amazing. I'm almost scared of him. This morning, Sandy's brother, Shadow, he wanted to come into my room after I went to the bathroom. You know, as you get older, you start going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. It's very annoying. And as I came back into my room, Shadow wanted to come, but he was very awake. I knew that he just wanted to run around, but I wanted to sleep. So I very regretfully started closing the door on him. And he got up on his hind legs and shoved it open. And he almost pushed me back. You know, this is a cat that is not even 2 years old, and he is so strong. He loves eating protein, nothing else. But on the other hand, his brother Sandy, what a vegetarian he is. He loves eating spinach leaves and munching on flowers. I call him my flowerdarian. They are like yin and yang. Thank you, Fabiana, for your friendship necklace. And another one. Radhe, Radhe. And Francie loves cats. I saw you send him a gem gun. That's very fun. Thank you for that. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Usha, for your rosa. And Ragnhildur, thank you for your rose. Jai Sita Ram. And thank you, Fiji water bottle, for your rose. Tazzy, you share that you just came in and thought you were talking about a demon. Quite the opposite. An angel in the form of a feline. Lior, you asked a moment ago, how do you think that the personal experience includes the overall experience with the source? See, scientists have their telescopes pointed at the stars. They've developed even more penetrating technology to look deeper and deeper into the void. Past our galaxy, past our local cluster, all the way to the cosmic microwave background. And if in the next next 100 to 1,000 years, our ability to detect neutrinos becomes even more subtle. We'll be able to find the even more distant cosmic neutrino background, which was created much earlier. And in the next 1,000, 10,000 years, our ability to detect gravitational waves becomes even more subtle. Then we'll be able to see the first thing in creation, the cosmic gravitational background. And then scientists will finally prove that we can't find an old man. There is no white guy with a beard up there. Seems as though it came from nothing. So, if your idea of the source is some old guy in the sky, of course this is not part of your experience. It's not part of anyone's experience. The source, although is often personified through art and statues, it represents something much less obvious. The very place in which this moment occurs. We think of the source as something far back in time. The very first word of the Hebrew Bible is beginning, thus giving it a time dimension to it. But the source is not bound by time. Whatever compels this universe into being is constantly there, ushering the movement of the cosmos. It permeates everything, including your consciousness, the lightless light in which it all happens. Thank you, Fabiana, for your tiny. Yum, 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 yum. Hello, Sarah. Dazzy, you ask, what time will you be on next? If you wish to know exactly when I go live, on my Instagram I put up a story just before I go live, explaining that I'm about to go live. However, I've been trying to go live around the same time every day, and that's 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Today I've gone live about 4 hours earlier, so I could treat my European viewers, as well as enjoy the sun afterwards. Even though it's still technically winter here in Canada, it's like a beautiful sunny day. I'm wearing a t-shirt and swim pants. I'd like to go swim in the ocean. Thank you, Ragnhildur, for your 3 roses. Jai Sita Ram. Gaia, you were wondering a few minutes ago, have I ever experienced a spiritual war in sleep? Let's see, what did I dream of last night? I dreamt that I was a rock climber, and I had a blind person strapped to my back. They had wanted to experience what it was like to rock climbing, but of course, if you're blind, this is a very difficult thing to do, because it requires good vision to know which holds are there. And so I had a blind person on my back, and I was rock climbing. And they got very scared. Have I experienced a spiritual war in my sleep? Conflicts exist only on the surface. The spirit is beyond conflict. Radhe, Dean Dude. Happy to have you here. Hello, Sherry from Virginia. Hello, Sky Guardian. Welcome to the second episode of ASMR Sunday, which you have inspired. And you share that you're really struggling with your BPD. I understand. Of course, there's only so much that I can understand, given that I cannot live life through your eyes. But having had as a romantic partner previously someone who also experienced BPD, I know a lot of what that's like through them. And I can say with confidence that there's a lot of beautiful blessings that come with BPD. For example, feeling so raw about everything. Whereas one person listens to a song and gets some joy out of it. When you listen to your favorite song, it is like heaven. Yes, it also makes the bad times feel 10 times more painful, but it also makes the good times feel 10 times more deeper. And as such, you're someone who's very spiritually aware by nature. You experience such things in life that few could even dream of. I am sure that in time, these burdens will become your greatest superpowers, and you will be able to hold space for such authentic feelings. Thank you, Anyadeya. Much love back to you. Lior, you ask, do you feel that your lives help you in your spiritual path? Absolutely. What you are providing me is something much greater than what I am providing you. You provide me with the opportunity to be humble, to practice patience, understanding, and to sieve through my own experience and come to any kind of relation with yours. By allowing me to share my experience with you, my heart becomes purified, and for that I am indebted to you. Hello Mimi from South Africa, and hello Rachel. And thank you Ragnhildur for your 3 roses you sent a moment ago. And indeed, today is an ASMR inspired stream. Sky Guardian says, can't wait for you to send the email. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you. I did email Swami Maharaj from the BAPS. And I look forward to their response. So thank you for providing me that opportunity. That's lovely to hear, Tom. Smiling is a great way to increase our levels of endorphins and other happy chemicals. Much of the responses that our body creates physically to feelings of happiness work both ways. A happy person person drops their shoulders, takes deep breaths, and has a smile on their face. And if you do all those things too, you can also start to provoke the feeling of happiness from within. And thank you, Tyler, for your 22 roses. And thank you, John, for your pair of roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And thank you, Cat the Dog, for your little crown. Jai Sitaram. I'm happy to hear that, Tom. They say that mantras can be chanted in 3 different ways. There is out loud chanting, whispered chanting, and mental chanting. Of them, whispered chanting is 100 times more powerful than out loud chanting, and mental chanting is 100 times more powerful than whispered chanting. You might think that it would be the opposite, that the louder we chant a mantra, the more effective it is. But actually, the softer we chant the mantra, the more subtle ripples it creates in our subconscious, and the more we echo the silence of our soul. Thank you, Danhao, for your heart me. Lior, you ask, what have you always wanted to say on your lives, but never had the option to? That's a great question, and I am struggling to come up with an answer for you, because everything I could ever ask for and more has occurred through these live streams, and thus I feel no absence. Thank you for reminding me of how grateful I am. Baby Daisy, you're wondering, how long have I been live? 58 minutes and 34 seconds. Om Namah Shivaya. Marvin, you're wondering, what do the Hindu gods represent in your view? Many different things. Shiva represents destruction. Vishnu represents preservation. Brahma represents creation. Kali represents the abyss of time. Durga represents the fight of the mother. Krishna represents the one whom forcibly attracts all minds. Hari represents the one whom steals your heart. Rama represents the one in whom you dwell. A deity exists only as a personification of some quality of the divine. Thus, meditating and worshipping a deity is not out of some authoritarian scheme, but simply to increase your understanding of the quality of the universe that they represent. As we meditate on the Creator, for example, we understand how important creation is. As we meditate on preservation, we understand how important preservation is. And as we meditate on destruction, we understand how important destruction is. All these qualities have their purpose and import. And the more deities we come to love, the more of a full picture we have of this universe. None in particular represent the one alone, but all of them together as a whole are one. Thank you, Cat the dog, for your heart me. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Sand Shifter, for your forever Rosa. Jai Sita Ram. And Anna Maria, thank you for your rose. Chilies, you're wondering, what was the name of the diet you use? It is called a Sattvic diet, also known as a yogic diet. That's Sattvic. Sattvic. It's very simple. Observe the change in your mind after you eat something. You will notice that your mind either goes up, goes down, or stays the same. Tamasic foods are foods in which your mind goes down after eating them. Like a nice turkey dinner, we wish to take a sleep. We call it a food coma. These are foods in which you pat your stomach and then have to sit out away from action. These fatigue the mind. On the opposite end of the spectrum are the rajasic foods, foods that provoke the mind, like drinking tea or eating spicy food, onions and garlic. Afterwards, your mind is kind of wired. You're a little bit more active. Sattvic foods are ones which do not alter the state of one's mind. Like when you eat an apple, whatever mood you were in before, you remain in the same mood. A yogi, therefore, strives to keep the mind at its baseline, neither rising into pleasure nor falling into pain. Thank you, El Wave Rider, for your rose, and another one. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Rachel Blackmoon, for your hand hearts. Jai Sita Ram. Just call me Chi, you asked a minute ago. What made you want to start doing these lives? Like, what was the turning point going for it? I have always been someone with a personality which wants to be online. When I was even 10 years old, I was making YouTube videos. When I went viral on TikTok, this was an opportunity for me in my current path to now start sharing. Instead of tutorials on how to make a Lego gun, tutorials on how to come to spirituality. Naturally, I saw live streams as another avenue to express whatever is in my heart. And I started very awkwardly and was very embarrassed my first time. But over the course of, I guess, a year, 2 years that I've been doing this, it's become more natural, and I see it as the best way to interact with you. Dan, how you are wondering, will you write a book about your spiritual understanding? how you look at this world and your perspective. Perhaps one day. I appreciate your recommendation, and I will think about it on your behalf. Lior, you had asked, if you had to stop living now, what would have been the last message you would have wanted to share? It's not that I live this life feeling like there's something I have that I have yet to give. This universe is not in my control. I trust that its trajectory is, will be, and always has been under the delicate care of the Divine Mother and Father. They know what's best for everyone, and thus I have no message to add of my own. And perhaps this is an answer in disguise. The very fact that I have no message for you implies the greatest message of all, that who you are is already whole, that there's nothing you need that you don't already have. In this moment, you are enough, presently perfect. And thank you, neighbor lady, for your heart made that you sent. Jai Sita Ram. Hello, neighbor lady. Divine Rising State, you are wondering, do I still have that YouTube channel? Currently, I have two, which I am regularly uploading to. There is my Yamsox Lives, which is an archive for all of these recordings. Secondly, there are my ASMR, spiritual ASMR YouTube channel, which this live stream is being uploaded to. Gaia, you are wondering, what contribution would you give to a community right now, the outer world, personal and alone? My perspective is very limited, in that I restrict what I give to whatever shows itself to me in this present moment. For example, all that exists to me right now are these sounds, this microphone, the phone in which I record, and your comments upon my screen. Whatever I have to give exists right now. If I were watching a YouTube video and a commercial arises offering to give me the opportunity to donate to something, then I will gladly see, as the universe has given me, a certain charitable organization to donate to in this moment. And when I am out on the street and someone needs a helping hand, I will gladly walk the old lady across the street. Whatever the universe throws my way to attend to in this moment, that has my love. Chillin', chilies, you ask, do you burn incense in your home? What are your thoughts on it? Yes, I burn incense. However, I try not to be too attached to the pleasant smell, because otherwise I may grow averse to not having it. Additionally, incense is not so healthy for cats and having two little kittens run around. I want to ensure that they have healthy lungs and noses. Gaia, you are also wondering, would I ever volunteer for a cause? Of course. And do you think I'd be accepted, or have I been? Whoever accepts me, that is fine. Whoever does not accept me, that is also fine. I am not here to be accepted by everyone, but to attend to those that do accept me. Doom Knight, you share that you refrain from incense for the same reason. Your kitty has asthma. I'm not sure what it is about cats, but it's so adorable when they struggle with certain physical ailments, like a little person. It just gives us, as owners, that much more reason to love. And thank you, Bella, for your trio of roses. Radhe, Radhe. Divine rising state, you are wondering, do you keep seeing yourself in people, or also separate yourself from their experiences and judgment? Yes and yes. The same consciousness that exists within me lives just as meaningful of a life within you. And so I recognize a part of me as a part of you, and a part of you as a part of me. However, if someone's walking down the street, I can't just grab the juice box out of their hand and start drinking from it, as if I was one with them. See, someone once told me that during a particularly eventful, psychoactive experience, they had felt so one with everyone around them that when they approached a stranger, they felt it so natural to drink from their juice box, to the sudden shock of the stranger. See, we are not one in the sense of a hive mind. We are one in that we experience life deeply, equally. Boundaries are important. If someone is expressing some negativity to you, it's not your role to become a doormat for everyone to step on. If we do so, then how will we be strong enough to give love to those who will take it? We must protect our resources so that we may be able to give. Thank you, Flim Flam, for your heart name. Jai Sitaram. And Jules, thank you for your ice cream cone. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, Rachel, for the beautiful paper crane. Jai Sitaram. And Johnny Ringo, thank you for your 10 ice cream cones. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And thank you, it's Sarah Lynn, for your rose too. Jadex Monique, you ask, what do you say to those that fear death or people dying. I say you are not alone, and that's perfectly natural. With patience, eventually, this fear will not limit you, but rather motivate you to live as presently as you can. At some point, death becomes not a burden, but a blessing, in that it compels us to live, as if any moment could be our last. Thank you, it's Sarah Lynn, for another rose. And Damien, thank you for your rose too. Jai Sitaram. Good night, Rainbow. May you have beautiful dreams when you get there. Hello, Moons Artistic. Happy to have you here. Lior, you share that living as if going live on TikTok. Although that was a great answer. Thank you. Thank you, Rachel, for the money cut. Very cool. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you. And thank you, Nilmik, for your heart name. And it's Sarah Lynn, thank you for another rosa. Jai Sitaram. And Moons Artistic, thank you for your 7 roses. M. Dukaka, you share that you have a theory that people have to be at a high level of consciousness to be happy, even if not the highest. Happiness is both the easiest thing and the most hardest, and what you have described is something that is perhaps a rediscovery of a very ancient view. So thank you for sharing such sublime wisdom. Indeed, the Vedas speak about happiness as Sat Chit Anandam. Happiness must be Sat, infinite, Chit, ever fresh, and Anandam, everlasting. Otherwise, if our consciousness is attached to the temporary, the finite, and that which decays, then how can we be happy? For true happiness to be attained, we must attach our consciousness to the Sat Chit Anandam, to the highest of all things. This is done through meditation, through bhakti, through right action and right knowledge, elevating one's consciousness to the highest heights of existence. And no one is not able to achieve this. Do not think that spiritual wisdom comes only to the smart. Everyone has the heart of a sage waiting to blossom. You are not unworthy for the spiritual path. Thank you, Moons Artistic, for your tiny. Yippee! And JD Questions, thank you for your 2-finger hearts. You asked, why is it not achievable? I assume this is happiness from an attachment of a finite, temporary, or decaying thing. It is because our soul is divine, and therefore it has a very high standard for the kind of happiness it desires. Material happiness does not suffice because our soul is not material. Our soul demands the highest, no less than divine bliss, Brahmananda or Premananda. The choice is yours, whether you wish to be a non-dualist or a dualist. Both lead to divine bliss. JD questions, you follow up. So if that is understood, then it's achievable. Yes, indeed. Happiness is your inheritance. We are just waiting to mold ourselves into the right container in order to contain it. And thank you, Johnny Ringo, for your 5 team bracelets. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you, Sand Shifter, for your finger heart. Jadex, you ask, how does one find spirituality? You have already found it if you have to ask this question. Spirituality is found not in the answer to that question, but from where this question arises. Ask yourself, why are you asking this question? You will come to your answer. Thank you, Johnny Ringo, for that heart me. And it's Sarah Lynn, thank you for your heart me and team bracelet. Hariom Tatsat. And thank you, Rachel Blackmoon, for your 31 roses. Jai Sitaram. And it's Sarah Lynn, thank you for another team bracelet. Plus 2, plus another 2, plus 1, plus 2 TikToks, plus 2 roses, and another quartet of roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Johnny Ringo, I appreciate you. Thank you, JD Questions, for your hat and mustache and heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hello, Top Darker, and thank you for your heart me. Divine Rising State, you ask, what is your favorite Sanskrit word? I make whatever my doing as if it were my favorite. I try to imagine that each word I say is my favorite word. Therefore, I give all of it my full love, articulation, enthusiasm, pronunciation, emphasis, and enunciation. Thank you, Sand Shifter, for your 5 team bracelets. Radhe, Radhe. No name, no face, you asked. Stay silent when somebody acts selfish, or make peace with them. Of course, if it is possible to make peace, you may try your best. One should never be attached to inaction. Always should we strive to make peace. However, if it is not possible, because it is not always, then you may forgive yourself. Sometimes the universe tests us with our ability to step away from difficult situations when it becomes a bigger problem than we have in our responsibility. So knowing when to walk away is a vital skill, just as is the skill of learning when we can make peace. And thank you, Morgan, for your tiny, tiny yippee. has been lovely so far, thank you. It's been like a beautiful summer day. 2 days here in Canada. Thank you, Tito or Teto. I appreciate your love and enthusiasm for your Ishta Devata, your personal form of the divine, that is, the Christ. Radhe Radhe Pribech. Goodbye, Melinda. Thank you for your best wishes. All my blessings back to you. Whatever power I have, do bless. I'm sure it's very small, but anyway, it's yours. Thank you, cat ears. JDX Monique, you ask, random question. Do I work a regular job? And if so, what do you do? Right now, I am very blessed in that what I get in donations suffices to cover all of my basic needs. In the future, if I were to move out from my parents' house, for example, I will likely have to get a more regular job, but until that time, I am safely comforted by the financial security that is generously offered by viewers like you. So thank you. And thank you, Morgan, for your 5 roses too. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you, Damien, for your best wishes. I appreciate your positivity. Yes, I am like the PBS channel, sponsored by viewers like you, or brought to you in part by viewers like you. It's Sarah Lynn. You are wondering, what if TikTok gets banned? Then I will express my gratitude in having had this opportunity to serve you through this platform, and I would look forward to whatever the universe gives me next. And thank you, Sean Taylor, for your 2 tiny tinies. Yippee. And Jordan, you are wondering a moment ago, what does Radhe Radhe mean? It is a salutation to the Shakti of the Source. Now, we may not know what the nature of the Source is. Even scientists, with all their objective tools and advanced theories, still can't comprehend how this universe emerged. All the religions in the world have playful disagreements over how we shall describe the original being. Some describe it as light, others as a void, some as infinite in all directions, and others as a point. But regardless of the state in which all this arose, it had the power to create. This we can know for certain just by being a part of it. Whereas we call the Source masculine, all this creation is feminine. She is the Divine Mother, and she is personified by the name Radha. By calling out to her, Radhe, Radhe, we acknowledge the Divine Feminine in all created beings, including you and I. Even though I am a man in this physical form, we must acknowledge our source as Mother Nature herself. Therefore, this is her body, not mine. I have to return it to her. And thank you, Dalen Downing, for your 10 roses, a snowboard, and an applause. 2 of them, I specify. Jai Sita Ram. And Sandshifter, thank you for your 3 rosas. Orion Tatsat. And thank you, Damien, for your 17 TikToks. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Solitary, you ask, what happens after death? Ask yourself, what happens before birth? And there's your answer. Thank you, Dalen Downing, for your finger heart too. And it's Sarah Lynn, thank you for your 7 finger hearts. Jai Sita Ram. And thank you, Ari, for your 5 roses. Ariom Tatsat. Siva, you ask, do I have a reading list suggestion? I am curious where this question originates. If you ask this because you are curious to understand the nature of the things in which I talk about, then I have good news for you, which is that it does not come from any book. You might say then, how will I learn about it? Where can I find it? Everything you seek is within. It's not just some words of poetry to listen in one ear and then forget by the other. When one says that the answers are within, it compels you to turn inside, to meditate on what you are, and sieve through your own experience in search of truth, lest we become dependent on the words of others, so that we can find validation and validity arising within. Leor, you're wondering, what is the source in my own words? The source is so immense that anything I say would limit it. The source is also so simple that anything I say overcomplicates it. To the many, the source is one, but to the one, the source is none. It experiences itself as everything, as anything, as something, and as nothing. The source exists as the seed-giving Father. The source exists as the womb-bearing Mother. The source exists beyond time, eternal and within each moment. The source is everywhere and yet nowhere, perfectly consistent and yet infinitely contradictory. Its conflicts are a paradox which will drive philosophers crazy until the end of time, and its beauty is so concise that it appeals to the artist of every soul. The source cannot be spoken of by mere poetry alone. The source must be experienced directly, beyond words and tone. C. Now I'm like Sesame Street, brought to you in part by the letter C. Thank you for your love, you, finger, heart, and rose. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Moons Artistic, for your 7 roses. And Morgan, thank you for your heart name. Dan, how you are curious. What is my religion? Is it Googleable? My religion is humanity. My prayer is the breath, and my God is consciousness. It has no borders, no boundaries, and no exclusivity. It is entirely inclusive to everyone and everything. I am Christian, I am Muslim, I am Buddhist, I am Taoist, I am Jewish, I am Jain, and most importantly, I am nothing. Thank you, Amanda, for your sweet memories. And thank you, Moons Artistic, for your finger heart. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Sand Shifter, for your finger heart. Riley, you ask, how long after dying does a soul get reincarnated? I don't know the formula. However, I have heard that it depends on how attached you are to the world. Different springs in physics are categorized by their spring constant. Very tight springs, when you stretch them, when you release them, they return to equilibrium just like that. Other springs are more stretchy, and as you spring them out and let go, they slowly return back to equilibrium. So too, if a soul is deeply attached to fulfilling some purpose, they will be back in an instant. However, if, as a free spirit, you'll happily go wherever the universe takes you, then you could spend an arbitrary amount of time as a formless state. Thank you, it's Sarah Lynn, for your 20 roses and 20 TikToks. Jai Sita Ram. And Moons Artistic, thank you for another 7 roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dalen Downing, thank you for your rose too. And yes, happy Ramadan, everyone. I love that, Moon's Artistic. We are living in a huge contradiction. And so beautiful it is. Morgan, you ask, can I tell you what the lotus represents and why? The lotus is such a beautiful symbol in that it represents so many things. The Buddhists, they meditate on a famous mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, meaning the jewel at the center of the lotus. See the lotus flower. It starts off as a bulb underneath the water in mud. It then grows out of the mud and spends a long time trying to weave its way to the surface. Most of its life is spent underwater, And yet, when it erupts in the surface, not a single drop remains. Scientifically, they call this phenomenon being hydrophobic. How amazing is it that something literally born in mud and spending its whole life in the ocean arises without a single drop of water or mud, perfectly clean. Likewise is our self, born into this ocean of Maya, surrounded by impurities, material desires, drowning in our own sorrow. And yet we continue striving diligently for air, for some breath, and when we do awaken to the light, we remain unaffected by everything we have ever gone through. Not a drop of burden remains. All of our suffering became worth it, and none of it unnecessary. Thank you, Dalen, for another rose. And Sana, thank you for your rose. Radhe, Radhe. Solitary, you ask, what's the difference between Buddhism and Hinduism? I will answer your question with an absence. When we are in pursuit of differences, then how can we be certain? When one religion says this and another says that, then whatever choice we make, always will there be some doubt and room for debate. If we instead ask the question, what is the same? Then, through the similarities of all religion, we come to truth. I am not interested in what's in the outskirts of the Venn diagram, within one circle and not in another. I am interested in what's at the center, in which all circles overlap, creating an epicenter of universal truth. Yes, thank you, Zana, for your rose. And it's Sarah Lynn. Thank you for your 18 bracelets, another 3 roses, and a quartet of finger hearts. Jai Sitaram. Sophia, thank you for your finger heart too. And Jinxed, thank you for your 5 roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Zana, for another trio of roses. And Kai, thank you for your beautiful flowers. Thank you, Beach, for your heartbeat. And Moon's Artistic, thank you for your 7 roses. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Sarah Lynn, for another pair of roses. And Sand Shifter, thank you for your trio of finger hearts. Punctual, you ask, do you have any thoughts about sacred geometry? There are many lines that we could draw on a plane. How many possible lines? There is a ridiculously huge number of lines that we could draw on a plane. Every plane is described by 2 points uniquely. How many combinations of 2 points can we make on a plane? specifically Aleph 1. It's the second cardinal infinity after Aleph Naught, due to the power of Aleph Naught, assuming the continuum hypothesis holds. Anyway, geometry is indeed beautiful, but it is ultimately arbitrary. Instead of seeking for nice boundaries, let us dissolve them entirely. Find beauty within everything, and seek to be whole with the infinite. Thank you, it's Sarah Lynn, for another finger heart, a rose, a rosa, a TikTok, 2 roses, and 2 TikToks. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you, Moon's Artistic. Always happy to have you here. Thank you, Morgan. I certainly see the love in the source through all of you. The letter C, you are wondering, do I have any other platforms? Yes, in the link tree in my bio. When you click on that link, it expands into my whole digital footprint, so you may see everything that I get up to there. Solitary, you ask, do animals have less consciousness than humans? Not at all. Consciousness isn't a thing that is more in one place and not in others. Instead, what differentiates us humans from other animals is that we have an empowered intellect. What does that mean? It means that even when the mind desires one thing and is averse to another, our intellect can step in and sever the connection between mind and body, or compel it to do something different. For example, when an animal is hungry and before it is food, there's nothing you can say to the animal that will convince it to not eat the food. However, us humans, we could say such things as, today is Ramadan, I'm supposed to be fasting. Actually, this food is not quite healthy. I shall wait for other more healthy foods. There are so many reasons that our intellect could use to prevent the mind from compelling our body to reach out our hand and pick up the food and bring it to our mouth. Humans have the ability to engage in austerity. Austerity means discipline from our animalistic nature. For example, we can study, we can work out, we can fast, we can worship. All of these things are a kind of austerity because the mind would rather not do any of that. Us humans have an empowered intellect, and it doesn't mean that we are more conscious. It just means that we have more control from our consciousness to operate this system. Maddie, you ask, am I Irish? Why, yes, I am actually. One step removed, I should say, I am Canadian. However, my parents are also Canadian, but their parents, my grandparents, are Irish. thank you, Dalen, for your 5 applauses. Radhi, Radhi. So on behalf of the Irish, happy St. Patrick's Day. And thank you, Tamagotchi, for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. AJ, you are wondering, do I follow deities? I love to give my love to my Ishtadevata, that is Krishna and Radha. However, they are not the only epicenters of love. You are welcome to give love to whatever personal form of the divine that your heart speaks to. And hello, Alexa. Sam, you share. My soul has lived so many lives, as has yours, my dear. And that number is exact. See, whoever comes to me, I'm able to tell you exactly how many lives you have lived. The reason I have this ability is because the answer is the same for everyone. Each one of us have lived exactly the same cardinality of lifetimes, and that is, say it with me, infinite. Just as you have arisen on this planet in this form, so too you have arisen innumerably many times before, not just on this planet, but on others, and in the infinite universes that have come and gone. Sometimes we call others old souls and others as young, but this is only a figure of speech. When we call someone an old soul, it's because they are connected to the eternity of their soul, so they seem old. And when we call someone a young soul, it is because they are connected to what is temporary and new, such as this body. But all souls are eternal, and have never had a start date, nor will ever have a stop date. And thank you, Max, for your 15 roses. Radhi, Radhi. Jennifer, you share that you just found me through stitches. Why don't I have any videos posted? Much like the stitches here on TikTok, I went viral through the stitches that I made with others. I would see someone presenting an idea, and then I would come provoking an even more hot take. And this, I understand, is a very good way to go viral. Us humans, we love drama. We love the criticizing of others. However, I have fallen out of love with this. And I have since learned that I do not wish to provoke your minds by minimizing the defects in others. Instead, I wish to console your soul by uplifting your heart and emphasizing the virtues already present. Thus, I have nothing more to say on this platform in terms of rejecting others' belief systems. This was an insecurity I had, which I am so grateful to have been humbled. Evelyn, you ask, do you believe there will be a time without war on Earth? There will never be a time where there is no conflict happening in this world. And that is because it is not the nature of this world to be peaceful. It is the nature of our soul to be peaceful. When we confuse our soul for being a part of this world, that is when we suddenly care about world peace. However, peace is not found without. It is found from within. If we search externally for some environment that is conducive to our happiness, then we are only contributing to the conflict. Instead, we must find ourselves to be peaceful. Only then can we go and achieve the service of this world. When we come to help the world before we ourselves are peaceful, then how can we be of service when we know not what peace looks like ourselves? The conflicts that arise in this world are not a bad sign. They are opportunities for us to deepen our own spiritual practice and become unattached. This is a hard truth that I don't expect the world to come to understanding about. But since time has brought us into existence, this world always has had something missing. And that is because the material existence is inherently limited, not for our own punishment or our own obstacle, but for our own upliftment. Thank you, it's Sarah Lynn, for another 10 roses. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Sam, for your rose. Jai Sita Ram. Amina, you share. When there's a conflict, I feel like as humans we should be helping in any small way we can. Indeed, my friend, it is our duty to help, but not our duty to solve the world's problems. And this is a subtlety. The world is conflicted not because anyone's doing something wrong and that we are here to correct the faults of others, but instead, through our own impurities, we become pure by helping. And thank you, Shalisu, for your heart me and little crown. Radhe, Radhe. And Evelyn, thank you for your finger heart. Less than 3. Amanda, you ask, what can I do to feel less lonely? Bad days. When we feel that aliveness within everything, how can we be lonely? When we were children, even the blanket which we carried everywhere had an aliveness to it. It was our friend, our safety. It consoled us. When we drew the sun in the corner of the sky, we always put a smiley face on it. Did anyone ever teach you to put a smiley face on the sun to consider your blanket as a friend. No. It came natural to us because we could feel the aliveness and everything. I remember one time my mother was driving me to, I think it was kindergarten, and she told me that good morning, look, the sun has arisen just for you. And I said, Mom, the sun doesn't have any feelings. It's just a ball of gas. And she was heartbroken. She said, who taught you this? I said, my dad told me. He said that the sun is just a ball of gas. And from a scientific perspective, he's not at all wrong. He was trying to aid my understanding of this universe. However, in similar ways, as we grow up, we become adolescents in the land of the living dead. Whereas before we felt aliveness in our stuffed animals, in the sun, in our blankets, in the trees, in the grass, we are taught to see them as not alive, as unconscious. We call it the anthropomorphic bias. We're constantly giving character traits to things that shouldn't. And this is our mistake. Us adults stop viewing our surroundings as just alive as we are. Thus we feel lonely. We feel like we need a human connection to be happy. Alas, we are missing out on the greatest treasure trove of happiness that exists within all things. All we have to do is expand our notion of consciousness again and feel it permeating all things. Then how can you ever feel alone? Thank you, Ragnhildur, for your rose. And it's Sarah Lynn, thank you for your finger heart and for TikToks. Now, I would like to start wrapping up our live stream. It's a bright, blue, beautiful day outside, and I look forward to maybe kayaking or frolicking in some field, getting lost in a forest. I'm going to throw myself out into nature. I hope you forgive me. But before I go, I'd like to first ask my question of the day again to all of you and read from another section from our book, The Power of Thoughts. And I love that, Sam. You share that you're 40 years young and laying in bed with your teddy bear you have had since birth. I also have a stuffed animal, a bunny named Carrot, which was given to me from my grandmother the day I was born. I still have her. She's been many, many places, as I'm sure your teddy has too. My question of the day is, what do you do to calm down? All of us will benefit from hearing each other's insights. We can learn from different techniques to calm down. So, imagine that you're sharing this to someone who maybe is struggling calming down. What would you recommend? Thank you, Usha, for your rose. And Evelyn, thank you for your hand hearts. Gaddy, you share that you eat. That's a great way. That's a great way. Since it signals to our body that we don't need to be in fight or flight. It's a time to engage in self-preservation by neutralizing, giving us nutrition. Jody, you do yoga. I love that. such a great way to relax. Malam, you meditate. The sky, you stim. Yeah. And Gioro, vice, you breathe slowly. So important. Sam, you stand outside and look up at the stars. Josie, you take a walk in the woods. What Kate does, you share, I've used meditation while already calm to learn to control my heart rate so I can do it when I'm not calm. Wow, such a powerful piece of wisdom you have shared with us. Yes. It reminds me of when Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that many various kinds of people come to me, but those who are already wise and still come to me, to them I give my deepest wisdom. Similarly, we may see meditation as a tool to use only when we're stressed out, but if you are already happy, that can be a great tool to deepen your happiness in times that you aren't. Thank you for sharing that, Kate. Drew, or Dro, you share Shamatha Vipassana meditation, mantra japa, or chanting Hanuman Chalisa. Such great techniques, that is. You certainly have a great tool belt of serenity. Done how you close your eyes, visualize a safe place, deep, slow breathing, and go for forest bathing. How lovely. El Gioro Fei, you do everything in slow motion. Slow down. Indeed. I am reminded of the nurse that taught me first aid. They said that some people feel like they need to be in rush to save a life, but this is not the case. Going slow ensures that things go smoothly, and ensuring that things go smoothly ensures that things go quickly. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So too, in our life, we might feel like there's so many things we need to do. But when we go slow, it all happens smoothly. And as we do it smoothly, we achieve it swiftly. Sandy, you share that you read the Bible. I get that. It's very consoling to read words of wisdom. Garbo, you like to listen to very loud music to calm down. I like that. That's almost like an austerity itself. Very disciplined. And Lil Holy Stone, you share that music makes all my problems go away. The universe's natural antidepressants. I love that. I am happy that music means so much to you and that you have empowered it. And Moon's artistic, you do praying or Reiki. These are such great techniques. Thank you, Edmo, for your heart me, and a rose for each day in a fortnight. Radhe, Radhe. So with that, I'll minimize our question of the day and maximize the cover of the new book we started reading, Swami Mukundananda Ji's The Power of Thoughts. But I thank you all who answered my question of the day. Here we are reading the very first chapter. Since we finished together, his last book, The Art and Science of Happiness, a few days ago. Let us think about thoughts is the name of this chapter. Thoughts determine our happiness and distress. Shakespeare had said, "There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so." I once witnessed an eye-opening example of this statement. In June 2013, there was a devastating flooding in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand. It was caused by cloudbursts, followed by excessive rains. Landslides due to the floods damaged several buildings. Debris from the hills jammed the rivers and increased the deluge. When news of the calamity spread, aid poured in from around the world. At JK Yog, the organization that Swamiji has, we too launched a drive to help. However, what became permanently etched in my memory was a scene I saw on TV. A television crew was conducting on-the-spot interviews. Hurried residents were sharing their tales of woe when the camera suddenly turned to an old woman. The interviewer asked her, "Maji, mother, what has been your tragedy?" She said, "I am so thankful to God." The old woman responded, "Do you mean there has been no damage to your home?" the puzzled reporter queried. "No, in fact, my home has been washed away," replied the old woman. "Then why are you thanking the Lord?" the reporter asked. "I am grateful to Him because my husband is alive and my children and grandchildren are safe. The house can be built again, but if any of my family members had died, the loss would have been irreplaceable. I feel blessed that they are still with me." Watching the coverage, I wished I could have touched the woman's feet, which is a sign in India of reverence. As per the government of Uttarakhand reports, more than 5,700 people were presumed dead in the deluge. Yet, in the midst of death and destruction, this woman was brimming with positivity, hope, and contentment. What was her secret? Simply the way she chose to think. The circumstances were grim, but rather than brooding over her loss, she focused on the silver lining she saw in the situation. It did not cost her more to think positively, but it made such a difference to her inner joy. In the US, the woman's thinking style would be called positive reframing. Psychologists charge up to $200 an hour to coach clients in it. The poor old woman did not have the benefit of such training, yet she had proved a golden truth herself. Our experience of happiness and distress is not dependent on circumstances, but the way we look at them. Though the outer world is objective, it enters our consciousness through the lens of our mind. Hence, our perception of the objective world is subjective. When people are unhappy, they blame external circumstances for it. But if they simply changed their viewpoint, their experience of misery would also change. Here's an example. Dinesh comes to office on Monday. "I am so happy," he tells his colleagues. "God's infinite grace is upon me." "What happened?" they all ask ask eagerly, "Did you win a lottery?" "No, I had an accident while riding my motorbike," responds Dinesh. "A crazy guy brushed past my bike while speeding his car. I lost my balance and hit an electric pole. The X-ray revealed my thumb was fractured." "What? You had an accident and you are still thanking God?" "Yes. The way that guy was driving his car, he could have killed me. I am lucky I got away with such a small fracture." Notice how sagacious Dinesh's thinking is. His thumb is already broken. If he keeps brooding over it, he will feel miserable. But it will not help him in any way because the damage is already done. As the saying goes, there is no use crying over spilt milk. Instead, Dinesh has reframed the accident in a positive light. By choosing his thoughts well, he is cheerful. In an identical situation, most others would have felt a spate of negative emotions such as self-pity and bitterness. The moral of the story is we become happy or sad by the thoughts we bring to our mind. Then why do we not think good thoughts more often? Because we have not truly realized their importance. So let us appreciate more deeply why thoughts are so crucial to the quality of our life. And with that, we'll stop our reading there for now and turn our attention to the next section tomorrow. I am going to go now so that I may enjoy the sun, but I thank you all for listening to me as I read. Thank you to my lovely moderators who have helped cultivate such an auspicious space. And thank you to those who sent a gift whilst I read. Allow me to send my token of appreciation back at you. Thank you, Hybrid Jen, who sent a rose. Radhe, Radhe. Thank you, Riley, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Lindsay, thank you for your heart me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you, Moons Artistic, for your heart me. 3 team bracelets and cheer me up. You always do such a wonderful job moderating. Thank you, Rachel, as well, for ensuring a peaceful environment in your moderation abilities. Thank you, Lindsay, for the fire. Jai Sita Ram. And thank you, Painted Lady, for your 5 roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, B525, for your rose. Jai Sita Ram. Let this live stream be an offering to Jagat Guru Dham Shri Kripaluji Maharaj. He is the author. Oh, I keep saying that wrong. He is the guru of the author of the book that we just read. And if you wanted to learn more of him or from him, both Jagat Guru Dham Shri Kripaluji Maharaj and Swami Mukundananda Ji are linked in the link tree in my bio, as is a link to my Yamsox Lives YouTube channel, which I normally upload the recordings of these lives to. But today, given that this is ASMR Sunday, I will be uploading this to my ASMR YouTube channel instead, where we have been reading the Bhagavad Gita together, ASMR style. We have read the introduction, the first chapter, and the second chapter, and I hope to record the third chapter soon. I recommend this book to all spiritual seekers. It truly is the only book you ever need. Sung 5,000 and more years ago. Thank you, Night Witch Tarot, for your rose. And thank you, Sarah Lynn, for your rose, too. You have been very generous. And thank you, Valentine, for your rosa. Radhe, Radhe. And Lumi, thank you for your hearts. Jai Sitaram. Small, you ask, are we able to send you small gifts? You are already the greatest gift I could ever ask for. And at this time, I don't have a P.O. box or anything like that set up. They are out of my budget at this time. But if you really want to, you're more than welcome to get in contact with me through my email. Additionally, if you want something in return for supporting me, you are welcome to see the store section of the link tree in my bio, where I have Yamsox based off my username. They're covered in little yams and sweet potatoes. So cute. I don't know if I'm showing it right. These are very soft. And also, we have a guest that often frequents our live stream, none other than a tiny. And what does the tiny say every time he arrives? He says, yippee. So those are two things that you are welcome to get if your heart so desires. Of course, I will happily accept any and all expressions of appreciation, but this is one opportunity for you to get something physical in return, so I feel like I am giving you something back. And with that, I bid everyone good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you are in the morning. And thank you, Mitrisa, for subscribing. I am always so delighted to be in your service. Radhe, Radhe. And thank you, Ragnhildur, for your rose. And Evelyn for a tiny. Yippee! May you all have a beautiful present moment. I am so blessed to be surrounded by such wise souls such as you. I learn so much from all of you, and I am always deeply humbled. Thank you. And thank you, Masa, for your tiny as well. Yum, 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 yum. May you all have a beautiful rest of your present moment. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shama, Radhe Shama, Shama Shama, Radhe Radhe. Assalamu alaikum. Satnam. Hallelujah. Hail Mary. Namo Buddhaya. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Francie, for the marvelous confetti. Now, peace be with you. And thank you, Dash, for your 2 roses.